All right, all right. What's up with it? Straight to the point, sports and entertainment. Please hit the like button, sub to the channel if you're not a member. Also hit them notifications so that you're able to get all of my content as well as all of my videos. I do want to give a shout out to the whole entire Lions Den, both basketball and boxing communities. We are talking hoops right now, and I also want to give a shout out to all of my subs that have been rocking with me, my day ones, and of course my new subs too as well. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the support. We are growing. Um, I don't really, I don't really focus on, too much on the numbers. Like I said, if y'all have been following me for quite some time, I really don't focus on the numbers or anything because I want people to get the messages in, uh, the videos that I do the lives that I do and everything. And I do try to build a community to where everybody can have their own opinion too, not just mine. Everybody's opinion is uh, validated as long as you keep it respectful. Over here, straight to the point, sports and entertainment. I also want to let y'all know that I will be dropping some more content on Straight Sixers News too as well, and on my fitness channel on the Fly Fitness too as well. Okay, so be sure to be looking out for that. Um, I'll go in just a couple of minutes, or maybe a couple of seconds rather, because this needs to be discussed, and I don't think a lot of people are really taking into account how detrimental this can be, not only to a lot of coaches in the league, but also the league itself, man. When you talk about, this being a players' league, which, I am of the understanding that this is a players' league, but, at the same token, players got to take accountability too. Okay, you're a grown man, just like everybody else. So it's time out for a lot of the excuses and stuff. And so when I run this across y'all, y'all are gonna be very surprised for those of y'all that really haven't keyed in on the stats and some of the numbers that I was able to gather up right now. um, let me say this before I go in. Okay. Um, do I think KD is a great player and is going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer? Yes, he is. Okay. Do I think Bradley Beal is a Hall of Famer? Not not first ballot, maybe borderline. Because I heard, uh, who was it? It was Paul Pierce. He was talking about three Hall of Famers. Booker is going to be a Hall of Famer without a doubt. Okay. Uh, but Bill, you gotta kind of question if you go by the numbers and everything. I mean, yeah, you'll say that Bill is, but in terms of his impact and in terms of his accomplishments and stuff, Bill really hasn't. He really hasn't done anything except for the numbers wise to say that he's a Hall of Famer. But that's not what this conversation is about. Okay, this isn't what this conversation is about. This conversation is about KD and Book mainly doing the finger pointing to Frank Vogel. Okay. Now it seems like it always whenever there's a KD team, we always talk about LeBron and how LeBron does this and does that and ready to fire the coach and all this other stuff. Well, we got to look at KD too. Okay, KD tends to make excuses. Okay, he's doing the finger pointing to Frank Vogel, which is highly unfair. Okay, you got to hold your own self accountable. Now, for starters, between KD, Book, and Bill, that's $150 million. Okay, in which they're paid in terms of their salary. This salary is 3 times more than 14 teams' payroll in 24 and 25. Okay, so a lot of people would, dare I say, that you're stealing money. Okay, they're calling you, a big three and all this other stuff or whatever. Well, you didn't meet up to the level of expectations, especially when it came down to the get down. Okay, now you want to sit up here and you want to blame Frank Vogel and everything, right? But the thing about it, were you blaming Frank Vogel when y'all went 3-0 versus the T Wolves this season? That's my question. Okay, because y'all went 3-0 against the T Wolves, there wasn't no problem there. Okay, you seem to be doing phenomenal against, in the regular season, and you even did good. What's up with it, Ted? I see you in the building, man. You even did good in the first game, and Bill didn't play. That was back on November the 15th. That was back on November the 15th. Bradley Beal didn't play, and y'all went undefeated against the Minnesota Timberwolves this season. Okay, now, granted, I think in one or two of the games, the next 2 games or whatever, they didn't have Karl Anthony Towns, or to their defense. But at the same token, they didn't have Bradley Beal. But at the same time, they still weren't able to get no win against you. Yeah, I agree with that, Ted. You know what I'm saying? Phenomenal player, but he does a lot of front running. Bruce Gas Boxing, I see you in the building, bro. Make sure y'all go sub to the brother Bruce Gas Boxing, Jazz, and more. Well-respected guy in the LDBC community, man. Bruce Gas, man, are you going to be at the LDBC meet and greet in ATL? I just had to ask you that, man. I was just going to ask you that. But make sure y'all go sub to his channel. Now, let's get down to the nitty-gritty, okay? Now, I haven't even really gotten the deep end yet, all right? Now, KD want to sit here and point the finger to Frank Vogel, okay? Nah, man. Well, you respect it over here, man. You respect it over here, man. You respect it over here, man. Listen, Vogel is a good coach, and he's a championship coach, all right? And he's successful. Now, does he have a lot of championships under his belt or anything like that? No, but he does have playoff experience, and he has been deep in the playoffs, and he's used to managing a whole hell of a lot of personalities too as well, all right? Now, KD wants to sit here and Book want to sit here and do the finger pointing to Frank Vogel, right? Well, in game 1, okay, Vogel didn't have no bearing on your performance. You know why? Because for starters, Kevin Durant was a -20. You shot good, but you were still a -20 on the floor. Okay, Bradley Beal was a -9. He shot okay, which was 7 for 13, and this is game 1. And then, of course, the biggest no-show of them all was Devin Booker. He was at -15. Yeah, he had 18 points, but he shot horrendous from the field, which was at 7 to 22 points. I mean, 7 to 22 field goals. Okay, including not shooting that well from 3-pointers. Okay, the person that really had some impact, but even he was in the negative in terms of points, was O'Neal, and he came off the bench. Okay, and on top of that, you couldn't stop Ant-Man. Okay, that's what we seem to realize. It was a combination of y'all not making a statement coming out the first game. Okay, straight out coming out the gate. That was your time to set the tone. Okay, I understand y'all were, on the road and everything. I understand that. What's up with it, KJ the Don? I see you in here. I understand that Minnesota's long and all of this other stuff. But at the same token, KD, you're the one with the championship. Devin Booker, you're the one that's been to the NBA Finals. I don't want to hear any of this finger pointing, okay? That's game one, okay? Now, in game two, okay, let's talk about game two. All right, Kevin Durant, you shot 6 of 18 from the field, and on top of that, you were 0 for 2 for three-pointers, all right? You were a minus 24 in terms of impact, in terms of plus and minus. Then Bradley Beal, he shot 8 of 21. Now, he shot 50% from three-pointers, but overall, you shot 8 of 21, and you were a minus 11. And then, of course, Booker didn't play that good either. He was a minus 24. He shot 7 of 19 from the field, including 1 of 6 from three-pointers, which means that all of you, not 1, not 2, not 3, all of you were a no-show in that game too. That's not Frank Vogel's fault. Okay, you said KD, multiple time scoring champ. He should play better. Absolutely. Now, in terms of his shooting, he did, but you still got to do more. Listen, I'm going to get to that in just a second, Ted, because you brought up a good point. You said as a Lakers fan, Vogel slander won't be tolerated. He's a solid coach. This is on KD book injuries and the front office. Exactly. And that's what we're discussing right now. That's exactly what we discussing right now, KJ to Don. You said KD's scoring doesn't impact like in his prime, but he's still playing very well. Yeah, but like I said, it's not having any impact. It's just empty stats. It's not having any bearing on the game. Whereas, when you see a guy like Anthony Edwards, Ant-Man, guess what? He might have 15 points, but guess what? You might say, well, damn, he made a key block at the end of the game, or he's getting steals, because let's not forget, he was leading the series in steals, and on top of that, he was amongst the league leaders in steals too as well. He's a very slept on defender too as well. Now let's get to game three, okay? Now in game three, all right, let's talk about KD, right? KD, he shot 9 of 23 overall, including 1 of 5 from three-pointers. He was a negative 20 in terms of plus and minus. Bradley Beal, he was a no-show, okay, as well as KD. He shot, don't get me wrong, he shot 10 of 19, but he still was a negative 19, which means that he didn't have any impact on you might have had points and everything, but what about the other stuff necessary that some of the other bench players are doing that are on that roster? Okay, then of course Book, can't say much about Book. I mean, he did all right, but he was still a negative 8, and he shot. But although he shot 50% from the field or whatever, a lot of people felt like you could do more in terms of other areas. Okay. Then in game 4, okay, KD, solid game. You still were a negative 7, although you did what you could do. You came out booming that first half. Okay, and throughout the course of the games, somewhat, but and of course we know that it was Book. He was a +1. You know what I'm saying? And he shot 13 of 21 overall, including 3 of 5 from three-pointers. And Bradley Beal just did not do anything at all. He was 5 of 18, 1 of 5 from three-pointers, and was a negative 12. Okay, which means that Bradley Beal was not a no-show, but pretty much y'all are the leaders on this squad. So who's gonna sit here and get the most blame? It's gonna be y'all. It's not the coach. It's up to y'all being the ones that hold the accountability, right? And then on top of that, that's where the reason why I read that out, y'all, is because that's where you see that they have a combined negative 51 every time that they on the floor. You understand what I mean? So Devin Booker and KD sitting here pointing the finger at Frank Vogel, it makes absolutely no sense at all. You have to hold that L. You have to hold that accountability. I don't want to hear none of this. Well, it's Frank Vogel. You wasn't complaining about that stuff when you not only you beat some good teams this season. Okay, the Suns, y'all beat the Nuggets. And a lot of people had y'all projected to actually win the championship. So I don't want to hear none of this stuff about, oh yeah, well, you know what, man, it's Frank Vogel's fault. No, it's not Frank Vogel's fault. You know what I'm saying? That's what the problem is, and what I said at the beginning of this. Hold on one second, y'all. I'm sorry about that. That's what I was saying at the beginning of what I was talking about now of the show. Check it. Every time somebody loses, every time something doesn't go a player's way or something like that, then they wanna choose a fall guy, and they want to choose Frank Vogel. I'm not having it. You might not like Frank Vogel, and they did the same thing to him when he was in L.A. No, KD, this falls on you. Okay, you should have been like, look, I could have did more. You know what I'm saying? Is it gonna hurt your legacy a lot? Yeah, it is, because you've been swept twice, and then on top of that, they look at your record since you left Golden State, and without doing it without Steph Curry. Let me look at. You said once again, Vogel. Yeah, he is. He is once again. Vogel's being a scapegoat. You said 2014 KD will play better versus Ant. Ooh, that's hard to say. That's hard to say right there, Ted. But at the same token, Ant. See, the difference between KD and the difference between Ant-Man is that Ant-Man actually wants it. Ant-Man came in through a situation where their situation is homegrown. Okay, Ant-Man had already came to Minnesota, and then of course Rudy Gobert had joined Minnesota and everything, and now they're slowly going through the process and everything of being a possible championship contender, because you got to think about it. They lost 2 years in a row. You know what I'm saying? A lot of and what was the stigma last year? The stigma going into the season is, can they get out of the first round? Well, they did that, and not only did they do that, they got out of the first round with a sweep. Okay, and they swept one of the greatest to ever do it in KD. All right, you say come back to the Lakers, Frankie. Well, that's another conversation for another day. You say KD basically stat padding. That's tough to say. That's tough to say, but a lot of people would say that. Do I believe that KD, wants to win? Yeah, but at the same time, we also got to look at it like, okay, your mentality has backfired on a lot of guys. What a lot of people would have had appreciation for is if you would have stayed there in OKC with Russell Westbrook, try to work out whatever issues that you would have had or whatever, instead of going to Golden State or whatever. Some people felt like you could have went to any other team besides Golden State, but that's neither here nor there. We can't do anything to change it. He did get those rings. He got the Finals MVP. But if you notice, a lot of people ain't really talking about that. They're not talking about the Finals MVP. They're not talking about the 2 championships. And when they do talk about the Finals MVP, and when they do talk about the 2 championships, guess what they say? Guess what they say? They say that they don't respect it. You said Vogel is a defensive coach, yeah, which is shocking, because you would think that the Phoenix would put up more of a fight, but at the same time, we also got to look at Minnesota. They were the number one defensive team for a reason. They were the number one defensive team for a reason. You said Vogel during the bubble made good adjustments and defensive sets. Yeah, he did. Absolutely. Absolutely. And on top of that, you got to think about what type of players that he had to work with and what type of players that he was playing with. You're playing with a guy in Rondo who's won a championship before. Okay, LeBron, he's won a championship before and everything. And then on top of that, you had some guys you had robots out there. You had a Dwight Howard, you had AD, and on top of that, you had what's that dude's name? JaVale McGee. In terms of your bigs, instructing them what to do, and on top of that, you had role players that were able to fill the void. Look at KCP and what he's doing now over there with Denver. You know what I'm saying? Look at Alex Caruso. Now I know Chicago, they're not where they want to be, but Alex Caruso, I guarantee you, there would be guys that would be willing to grab a hold of that Swiss Army knife in Alex Caruso, because he can pretty much do everything. You said KD is a transcendent talent, but he's malcontent. He had problems with Billy Donovan, Coach Kerr, Nash, and now Vogel. Yeah, exactly. Think about it. It's always somebody else's fault. They were saying they wanted, with Nash. I'm glad you brought that up too. When it came to Steve Nash, it was his fault. You know what I'm saying? When it came to Billy Donovan, you know what I'm saying? Clashing with Billy Donovan over there in OKC. Now with Coach Kerr, I didn't really hear too much problems. That a lot of that in-house stuff that was between the players. Of course, that was between KD and Draymond. Vogel revived Dwight Howard's career. Yeah, Scott Brooks. Scott Brooks, yeah, man. I mean, just problems with everybody. Now, if we listen, and I know some people they just want to always throw, talk about LeBron and what he done did and how many coaches he done got fired and players he done got traded and stuff like that. But we also listen, we gotta hold the same smoke to KD too. Because KD was trying to follow in LeBron's footsteps. He was trying to do what he did in terms of the super team thing or whatever. In terms, of clashing, with the coaches and all this other stuff. And he wanted to talk about, he didn't want to, the media nonsense and stuff like that. But you still got to deal with what's going on in house. In terms of the team atmosphere and stuff. What's up with it, Think Tank? I see you in the building, man. ATL shouted in the building. But that's what I'm saying, man. You got to hold yourself accountable. I'm not going to say, you said he was upset with Kerr's offensive scheme at times and how he handled the Draymond situation. It's like you got to walk on eggshells with the dude. Yeah, exactly. Now, see, that right there I don't understand because Steph Curry had gave him keys to the offense. Steph Curry had took a step aside. And see, that's what, okay, look, I understand that they had a juggernaut. I understand that they had a super team. I understand a lot of people don't necessarily respect that Golden State team or anything. But we also got to look at it on the flip side of the coin, too. Steph Curry could have been like, you know what? Nah. This is my team. I won the championship first before you got here and everything. So you need to step aside and everything. Nah, he let KD have his way. He let KD have control, have that green light of the offense. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't like to talk about that, but it's the truth. And then guess what? After he left, he showed that he could win without him. He showed that he could win without him. So after a while, you said KD moved like a 304. Hey, man, well, I ain't going to go that far, man. He didn't move like no 304, man, when that lady called him a bitch. And he turned around and that dude called him a bitch or whatever. You said, what's up with it, Cypress? I see you in the building. Yeah, man, he turned around real quick and was like, shoot, what's up? You know what I'm saying? Listen, man, you could criticize these guys or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But like, it's a different thing when you get in front of them, you got a damn near 7-footer standing in front of you or whatever. I'm gonna criticize you on the court. Now, as far as all that personal stuff, that cupcake stuff and all that other stuff, I ain't gonna go that far. You said Frank Vogel should go somewhere like the Bulls or the Charlotte Hornets. Well, you got to remember that the Charlotte Hornets, man, they looking at JJ Redick. You know what I'm saying? They looking at JJ Redick. And then on top of that, they got the guy uh, from the Bulls. He was in the front office from the Brooklyn Nets. You know, he was in the front office with them too. He said, I wasn't mad at KD going to the Warriors. I wasn't mad at the Nets until he showing his true colors with Harden, with the Harden move, and did it again with the Suns. Yeah, exactly, and it backfired. Tank, listen, man, listen. That's why you gotta listen. You gotta do right by the game. Now, okay, I don't know. I don't necessarily know what LeBron meant by it's just basketball and all this other stuff, but basketball is what gave you got you out of your situation. Basketball is what got you to the majority of it being a billionaire. Basketball is what made you successful. Basketball is what made you an icon, and it's the same thing for you, KD. You got to hold yourself accountable. All the moves that you making and stuff, all this, because let's call it what it is. It's not just LeBron that's doing snakish stuff. KD doing snakish stuff too. It's just like maybe he comes across a little different. You know what I'm saying? You said gave Russ his word as a man he was coming back, then dip. Let Draymond disrespect him to his face in the worst way. Should have gave him that Tristan Thompson treatment. Yeah, exactly. You let other guys, disrespect you and stuff, and then you sit up there, yeah, I'm coming back and everything. And look, I don't, you could do whatever you want to do. You know what I'm saying? You a grown man. You know what I'm saying? You make your choices on your own. But, don't sit up there and try to make empty promises and stuff like that. And then next thing you know, that guy's expecting you to come back. You working out, you running hills. Because I remember that summer they was all running. They was running hills and working out and stuff like that. And then next thing you know, you make your move, man. That will make you look at somebody really, really different. You said bringing Bradley Beal to the Suns was a bad idea. Of course it was. Of course it was. It was a real bad idea. And on top of that, you got to think about it. Cyprus, 150 million between all three of them, and that salary is three. Uh, the salary is three. You said Bill has no trade. Yeah, exactly. The salary of three is more than 14 teams payroll through 24 and 25. That super team era has hurt the NBA greatly. NFL is no fun league and vastly increased the viewership. Now KD, Brian are getting old and the youngsters taking over. New stars need a new promo. Well, that's happening. Listen, hey Tank, listen, man. I don't know if you've been paying attention, bro, but there's a guy by the name of Anthony Edwards. Okay, listen. Stephen A. Snitch want to talk about all this box office stuff like that. You looking at him. Ant-Man is a box office. Ant-Man is playing for real. He's out there playing for real. He's not out there to do no fake stuff and all that other stuff. Now, in the beginning, him going to Georgia and everything, Tank. I know you looked at Ant-Man sideways with the comments that he made, talking about, he don't know if he want to play basketball. Man, that has clearly changed. And on top of that, he got a personality. Man, that nigga was on there with Funny Marco. Shout out to Funny Marco. Man, he was on there with Funny Marco. And shoot, he was damn near funnier than Funny Marco. Man, he got personality, man. You know what I'm saying? He ain't no introvert. He's an extrovert. You know what I'm saying? Up in there, man, all them fine females, man, interviewing them and stuff. I know he over there knocking them back, too. Man, you gotta be a fool, man. He up in there, man, getting them all, knocking them all down. Probably slipping the number and everything, taking off them damn drawers and just like that, man, hitting them in the hotel. Be like, man, I'll holler at you later. Be like, all right, call me later for the interview, Ant-Man. You know what I'm saying? Probably be swirling too. Man, Ant-Man got the bag. And then on top of that, you got to look at SGA. Let's not forget about SGA. Chet Holmgren. Can't forget about Wembanyama. He coming through. Wembanyama said at a Drake concert, he said, look, this is an example of a leader. Okay, this is an example of a leader. He said, look, man, he tried to come up on the stage, bring his team to a Drake concert. Drake said, oh, no, we just want you 7-4. He said, no, if my team don't come with me, I'm not coming there at all. That's what winners do. Yeah, Tyler Banchero, Orlando, who I kept telling people Orlando. Everybody looked at me crazy. You know what I'm saying? You got Skip Bayless looking over Orlando. How come you're not talking about these guys? Man, Orlando, man, newsflash, Orlando done tied the series. They're not talking about that, though. Orlando possibly got a chance to advance. Man, these young guys is taking over, man. All this stuff about, LeBron in the offseason losing, stuff like that, man, I ain't even paying attention to it. I'm going to be paying attention to what's going to be happening, you know what I'm saying? Once the Lakers, they get up out of there, if the Nuggets do happen to win and stuff, because now they pushing the narrative, can LeBron save the day and come back from 0-3, the first person ever. He'll be breaking the record, 151-1. We got to stop it with that, man, because really it would be AD. You'd be looking at AD's direction, and then on top of that, you might have some guys that be feeling salty about that, getting all the credit and all that other stuff, and throw the game, sort of like what D'Angelo doing, sitting at the end of the bench looking at a cell phone, probably over there looking at Pornhub or X videos or some other shit. You say Orlando Thunder, the Wolves. You moving it here. You know what I'm saying? Zion, you know what I'm saying? Even though I felt like Zion ain't really hurt, you know what I'm saying? But Zion is coming up in there, you know what I'm saying? You got Ja out there. You know what I'm saying? Shit, man. We got to keep it 100, man. Look, let's bring it back. Guys want to play defense again. Wembanyama coming in playing defense. You know what I'm saying? Ant-Man coming in playing defense. Halliburton, he coming in, he playing defense. You know what I'm saying? These guys want to play, man. He's like, man, Damian Lillard, man, shoot, man, nah. I'm gonna show you how to play point guard. My shot might be funny, but guess what? You know what I'm saying? We still winning. You know what I'm saying? Shot looking funny than a motherfucker, but guess what? That motherfucker's going in. Sean Marion, his shot was looking funny than a motherfucker, but it was going in. Kevin Martin, you know what I'm saying? His shot was looking funny than a motherfucker. It was going in. Anthony Mason, his shot was looking funny at the free throw line. It was going in. Said once Brian get out of the playoffs and Glenn Rivers, we good. Young Wade, then the Clippers get knocked off. I don't know about that, Tank. Man, the Clippers, man. Listen, you got Luka up in there saying, man, I felt like I let Kyrie down and everything like that. No, this is your team. It's supposed to be your team. Now, I know Kyrie got the championship and everything, but no, you got to be the leader. You up in here talking about you let Kyrie down. No, man, you let your own self down. You should have stuck with the same format. I was rooting for you, Luka, for a minute. You out there making an effort, playing defense, you know what I'm saying? Said Zion been done quit on the on the Pelican. Yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? He want to go get him a fat burger, you know what I'm saying, at the strip club, man. He probably looking for Mariah. He over there looking for Mariah, man. Yeah. You said all them players shot look way better than Flutes when he first got in the league. You said Ant to me is the next face of the league. He got the game. Yeah, he got the game. He got the charisma. Man, listen, bro. Look, it don't matter about the shots or whatever, as long as them mugs going in. There's a lot of people that don't have the prettiest looking shot and everything. But man, is it going in? Are you winning or whatever? You know what I'm saying? Some people don't like the way that Zach Edey play over there at Purdue or whatever. But what I'm telling you, GMs ain't looking at, oh yeah, is it shot pretty and all this other stuff. They want to know, are you gonna lead this guy? Is this guy gonna lead us to the promised land? And Ant is the face of the league. You said, what if the Orlando Magic steal the game from the Cavs? Shoot, they done won 2 straight. Nigga, dog. If they win, guess what? They gonna be leading the series. Their problem is winning. They gotta win on the road. If they could win on the road, Orlando could do it. That's what I'm saying. Orlando was playing way better than the Orlando that we saw the last two games. Cypress. That's the Orlando that I know, not the Orlando them first two games. We say, who was your pick for the finals? Boston and the Wolves. Nah. I still got Denver. I know Jamal Murray, you know what I'm saying, having a little issue and everything. They talking about, most likely he won't play and all this other stuff. But at the same token, I still don't see nobody. You got to think about it. Denver hasn't played their best basketball yet. You know what I'm saying? And once they start playing their best basketball, man, it's a wrap. I still and the Wolves, while I like their chances and everything, they're long and everything like that. I still don't. I could see Jokic giving a guy like Rudy Gobert problems, as well as Karl Anthony Towns. You said the Suns need Lonzo Ball. Man, Lonzo Ball is finished, man. Lonzo Ball is done. Yeah, but they do need a point guard. I mean, they had a point guard. I mean, they had Isaiah it on there. You know what I'm saying? But I guess they don't have no faith in his abilities no more, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because he, older and all this other stuff, man. Yeah, they need to go get a point guard. They go get them a solid point guard. You know what I'm saying? Somebody to run the offense. Everything went down to shambles when they lost a guy like CP3 or whatever. Book is not. He's not that point guard type. Now, when he was in college in Kentucky, he was that point guard type or whatever. But then, he started being more of a shooter when he got to the league. You said D Rose to the Suns. Shoot, man, got to get somebody younger, man. You got to get somebody, man, that's capable of running that offense and somebody that is gonna hold up. And like I said, man, there's no disrespect to the Suns, but at the same token, we can't sit up here. KD can't be sitting up here blaming people every single year. No, you got swept. Hold that L. What? It was two games. Game 2 and 3, you didn't play that good, okay? And on top of that, combination of y'all was a -51. Every single game, with the exception of one, and that was D Book. All of y'all were negatives and plus and minuses. Come on, man. You gotta. After a while, man, you gotta start taking accountability of what you do. You said to me the Wolves versus Denver were real finals. You said Denver, 95% straight can beat any team in the East. We'll have to see, man. You know what I'm saying? We'll have to see. New York looking pretty good right now. A lot of people got New York. New York play scrappy. They play, they play physical. That's why I don't think we stand a chance. We don't stand a chance against New York. New York has really got our number, man. You got more people in the stands in Philly wearing New York jerseys and cheering for New York than our own damn team. You said Suns need a point guard and a better coach. But I doubt they're going to bail on Vogel. What are you talking about? Hey, I disagree with that, Scrub. Vogel is a good coach. There's nothing wrong with his coaching. There's nothing wrong with coach. Yeah, KD is blaming Vogel. He's finger pointing and blaming Vogel, man. When you got to take accountability for yourself. So you trying to tell me? Hold on, Scrub. Now you trying to tell me that a -51 combined, that falls on the coach? No, that falls on you executing. You trying to tell me, hey, and on top of that, Scrub Zero, check this out. Guess how many games they lost against the Wolves in the regular season? And I don't want to hear about none of it. Oh, no, it's just regular season. It's just regular season. Guess how many games they lost against the Timberwolves? 0. Donut. Krispy Kreme donut. They were 3-0 against the Timberwolves this season. They weren't blaming Vogel then. So Vogel ain't got to go nowhere. No, they didn't lose. No, they went 3-0 against them. They didn't lose no games. They got swept. They lost all their games against Minnesota. I mean, they won all their games against Minnesota, and they lost all their games when they played in the playoffs. And on top of that, I don't want to hear no other excuses about blaming Vogel either. You know why? Because they didn't even have Bradley Beal when they did beat them that first game in November the 15th. What's up with it, Stephen Green? I see you in the building. You said, "What's up, brother? My son." You said your sons. What you? Wait a minute. I thought you was a Sixers fan. Come on, man. Now, dog, man. Who you? Are you with the Suns? Are you? I mean, who you with? Are you with the Suns? Are you with the Sixers, man? You know what I'm saying? What you talking about? My sons? I only know two. I only know two Suns fans. I know. Well, no, actually, I know three. I know my boy Hitman. Shout out to Hitman X. And I know Kenyon Perry. Shout out to Kenyon Perry. And I know Zeddy. Come on, man. Oh, man, here you go, man. You doing what? You said it doesn't mean. Okay. Hold on. Well, first off, well, let's get back to that since you want to have this argument. He did hold. He did hold up as a coach. Were they fighting for playoff positioning? I mean, play-in positioning? Nah, not really. Okay, so they were in the playoffs. Frank Vogel came in, and on top of that, guess what? Guess what, Scrub? They won last season. They got out of the first round. Okay, so why wasn't he to blame last year? Okay, no, it's not. It's not Frank Vogel. It's a combination of the players, and he need to hold accountability. Um, let's go right here. Devin Booker shooting 7 for 21 and having a minus 15. Is that Frank Vogel fault? No. Kevin Durant shooting 6 for 18, man, a minus 24. Is that Frank Vogel fault? No. Bradley Beal, minus 11, 8 for 21. On top of that, missing dunks and airballing. Is that Frank Vogel's fault? No. Booker shooting 7 of 19, including 1 of 6 from three-pointers and a minus 24. Is that Frank Vogel's fault for being a no-show? Hell no. Okay, KD shooting 9 of 23, including 1 of 3 from three-pointers and a minus 20. Is that Frank Vogel's fault? No. It's not. Then on top of that, you got Bradley Beal shooting 5 of 18 in the close, damn near iced out game. What's up with it, T Price? I see you in the building. That's not Frank Vogel's fault. You got to go out there and you got to execute. Oh, it's Frank Vogel's fault. Was it Frank Vogel's fault when that the Lakers are in the position that they in now? No, guess what? It's Darvin Ham's fault. They go from coach to coach. These players don't take no accountability. It ain't Darvin Ham's fault. It ain't Frank Vogel's fault. It ain't none of that. They seem to be doing fine over there in Minnesota and Finch, and they barely talk about him. Only time they talk about him is when Conley ran into his ass. Huh? You said Vogel wasn't the coach last year. Yes, he was. Monty Williams did it in Detroit. You better go, man. Dog, what are you talking about? Hey, y'all, who was the coach last year? It was Frank Vogel, right? Monty Williams been gone. Monty Williams. Okay, Monty Williams. All right. My bad. I thought Monty, for some reason. Okay. Well, Frank Vogel. Okay, you're right about that. I was wrong. I'm able to admit I'm wrong. But at the same token, Frank Vogel he still got to the playoffs, and he still was not fighting for no play-in position. You can't blame him for being 3-0 versus the Wolves. Vogel, listen, Frank Vogel is a good coach. He got a championship. You can't blame Frank Vogel on this. All of those shooting percentages that I just named, that don't fall on Frank Vogel. And Monty Williams, I mean, he didn't really have nothing to work with anymore. You had DeAndre Ayton, he went to Portland. Okay, you lost CP3. You know what I'm saying? You what's it called? Who else was gone? I think that was it. Well, you know, Campaign and all them other guys on the crew and stuff like that, they were gone. I mean, they didn't really have the roster that they once had, with the exception of D Book being there. Frank Vogel, it's not Frank Vogel's fault, man, and I stand on that. We can sit here and we could try. I can blame him along with the players for getting swept. I thought his rotations were lacking. Nah, that's cap. Were they lacking in the season? Nope, they weren't. And he made adjustments. What does his adjustments have to do with a guy that's shooting 5 of 18? Okay, I know he can, but what you're saying is it's not really adding up. You want to, at the end of the day, I understand you probably like KD, but he got to take accountability for this. He didn't play that good 2 out of the 4 games, and on top of that, they were a no-show. Uh, Devin Booker was a no-show in 3 of those games, and they have a combined negative 51. Scrub, shoot. Specifically against this series is going to get a guy fired for nothing that he had control over. What he has control over, I mean, what he has control over is drawing up the play and making sure those players execute. And on top of that, he's a defensive minded coach. You got to think about it. They had no way of stopping of Ant Edwards. You can't blame that falls on the players not playing good defense. So Anthony Edwards, okay, Scrub, you sitting up in here, you saying, oh, it's Vogel's fault and all this other stuff. Do you see Anthony Edwards doing any finger pointing when he had 15 points, but they were still able to get the win? Nah, he didn't make no excuses. What he did is he sacrificed doing some other things, like playing defense, hustling, doing some other stuff, and letting McDaniels take over. Now, McDaniels does play for the team, right? I know I'm not that lost, right? McDaniels, they do have another counterpart in McDaniels, right? They do have another counterpart in Rudy Gobert, right? They do have another counterpart in a veteran in Mike Conley Jr., right? Right. So we can't sit up here and we can't be like, oh, well, man, it's this guy's fault. It's that guy's fault. Nah, you know what you sound like? You sound like an old, disgruntled motherfucker that ain't getting what he want. Would you take Booker on the 76ers? I don't know, man. That's a tough one. Um, I probably would, but I would have to get somebody else along with him. Booker's got to play with somebody else. If he played with a guy like Maxey and Maxey just getting the ball to him, that would be a lovely combination, I think. I like KD too, but his you know this right here, his attitude is piss poor, trying to sit up there and finger point towards Frank Vogel. You said ain't no way in hell Bill it was worth what they gave up. KD wasn't either. I mean, it's the truth. That's the truth. I mean, they're talented in it, and you get buckets, and you do this, and you do that. But at the same time, it's not equating to win. It's just like, okay, like for instance, with Kevin Durant, he shot 11 to 17 in game one, but he was still a minus 20. And then on top of that, he had 33 the last game. He shot 12 to 17. He was still a negative 7. Devin Booker, he was. I mean, while he's shooting 50% from the field, he's still a negative 8. He's gonna fade in big moments. Okay, now you see the light. I thank you for seeing the light, Scrub. I don't know, man. I think if he played like he did when he was in Kentucky, because you got to think about it. Booker wasn't really scoring that much when he was in Kentucky. He was more of a playmaker. I mean, he would be, but our problem is we need a solid big, and we need good defenders out on the wing. We're gonna have to have somebody that can replace a guy like Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris, when he was younger, he used to be able to defend somewhat and also score, because he used to be able to get rebounds and stuff. This season, man, Tobias Harris, man, has been a roller coaster, and he's been inconsistent. We can get a big in the draft. I know, but you're gonna have to have somebody. You're gonna have to have somebody reliable, because we're gonna have to change everything. You know what else I thought would have been good too, but I don't know. But I'm looking at his contract situation is Kawhi Leonard, because the reason why is because Kawhi Leonard won a ring with Nick Nurse, and he won a ring with Kyle Lowry, but I just don't know if Kyle Lowry gonna stay put or not. Yeah, that's what I was saying. He needs somebody with him. He needs a tandem with him in order to be successful. But a lot of people don't like his attitude. You know what I'm saying? Me, I don't really like that. Honestly, that him talking, that really never bothered me. Yeah, he get hurt a lot. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, um, when they lost Monty, man, when they lost Monty Williams, uh, and the way that and the way that Monty Williams was done, they act like Monty Williams didn't really have an impact. Now, I know this is going to probably hurt some people when I say this. Do I think that Monty Williams, would I rather have Monty Williams as a coach Yeah, a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you you kind of understand where I'm coming from with Vogel. Vogel is he's won a championship, and and all this bubble talk, bubble ring talk or whatever. If it had been Mike Malone winning the championship, they would have been in with a bubble ring. If Doc Rivers would have won the championship in the bubble, they would have been, look, it was a bubble ring. So it don't matter. He still won a championship. Between PG and Kawhi, somebody is gone in the summer. Yeah, well, PG is a free agent. He'll be a free agent. He's one of the biggest names on the market. That's why we're probably finna try to go after him. But we got to clear space on our roster. Tobias Harris most likely is gonna sign with Detroit. He probably gonna sign back with Detroit. That's where he used to be. Take your ass back to Detroit. You love red, white, and blue colors for some reason. You was with the Clippers, you was with Detroit, and then you was with the Sixers. They all got red, white, and blue. You said D'Lo Reeves free agents. Could D'Lo Reeves? I don't think Reeves. So Reeves isn't a free agent. Kawhi hurt more than Embiid. Yeah, he is. Well, I mean, the only thing that is messing with Kawhi is that knee or whatever, and inflammation and stuff like that. Man, with Joel Embiid, it'd be his knee, it'd be his hand, it'd be his eye. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to clown about this, but Bell palsy, you know what I'm saying? Like, this dude could barely, man, this dude on one leg, got one, you know what I'm saying? One arm. I think people discount Frank Vogel due to him coaching Brian. Every coach under LeBron gets belittled. They assume it's the players, not the coach in success. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point, man. I mean, and he's played. I mean, LeBron has gotten played with the most coaches, man. He played under a lot of coaches, and it's starting to add up that way with Kevin Durant because somebody had mentioned that. I mean, what Steve Nash, Scott Brooks, um, y'all talking about Monty, y'all talking about Vogel, y'all talking about damn, who else he play up under? Am I missing some people? Oh yeah, Kerr. He played under Coach Kerr. My issue with Monty Williams, he has issues maximizing his business. Man, God dog. So I mean, what coach you want, man? Dog, you got trouble. You don't like Vogel because it is. You know what I'm saying? Vogel got a ring. Monty don't. Monty at least went to the finals. Like, damn. Look, when hey, listen, everything was all good when they was winning, scrub. God dog, man. Well, yeah, man, you don't like Vogel? What? I bet, man, you didn't like. Nah, don't even try that either, scrub. You didn't even like John Thibodeau. And now that y'all winning, you talk about, oh, he came in this morning talking about, oh yeah, man, straight, the New York Knicks, they gonna cook the 76ers. Man, you wasn't saying that a couple years ago. You're like, you tired of the Knicks, tired of the Giants, tired. Man, you come on, scrub. Oh man, hey, but that's what they do in New York, man. They wake up angry. They wake up angry for breakfast, man. What? How you got issues with Tibbs? Oh my God. You ain't never satisfied, man. Y'all can win the championship. You be like, man, you know what? That's all we got, man. We need to get another championship. We need to repeat in order for me to be satisfied. Now I would never compare you to no Stephen A. Snitch. I wouldn't disrespect you like that. But man, the Stephen A. Snitch was doing the same thing, man. 1 minute, he up in here talking about he can't stand New York and all this other stuff. They talk about he saying they a disgrace and all this other stuff. And then next minute he up in there making shorts, talk about we back, New York, and all that other silly shit. Man, look, man. Hey, you know what? In the draft, I think y'all got it, man. Hey, New York is on the come up, bro. New York is on the come up. I think the Giants are they're gonna be a force to be reckoned with this year. I don't know about championship, but nah, man, it ain't all on the coach, man. Like we gotta understand that now. Uh, if you'd have said something like D Fisher, like Derek Fisher, you know, oh yeah, he focused on the triangle, all right. If you flip that motherfucker upside down and put it on a yellow bone or put it on a caramel, uh, thick girl, they got long curly hair with an hourglass shape. Yeah, that's the only triangle that he focused on. You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying is he busy teaching a triangle, but at the same time he trying to angle somebody else's female. Yeah, now that's not a good coach. You know, like Steve Nash, he's not a good coach. He got grandfathered in, and I like Nash as a player, but he wasn't that good of a coach. Uh, Terry Stotts, you know what I'm saying? He's not that good of a coach. You know, and I like Mike D'Antoni. I mean Mike D'Antoni for all the stuff that he gave to the game in terms of 7 seconds or less. He can't never get over the hump. He ain't Mike D'Antoni never been to a finals. He ain't never won no championship. Yeah, he a Hall of Famer and everything, but most of his credentials are gonna come not only from revolutionizing this 7 seconds or less stuff, but from what he did over there when he was overseas in Italy, I think it was. Nah, D'Antoni, nah, he listen, everybody started to implement, they tried to do what the Phoenix Suns did, but everybody ain't got the personnel. Listen, everybody ain't got the personnel of a guy in Steve Nash in his prime that could pretty much run with everybody, and you gotta credit that to him playing soccer. Because if you know about the game of soccer, they don't never stop running. When you got the personnel of a Rajah Bell who can not only run but also stop people in transition and play both ends of the floor and get you buckets when you need to. When you got a personnel of a Maury Stoudemire, pre-injury Stoudemire, that's big and can run damn near 7 foot and could jump and pretty much dunk over everybody, could handle the rock, could play defense, do all that other stuff. Then the Matrix, you know what I'm saying, a guy that's 6'8" can run fast as hell, you know what I'm saying, 4-4 or whatever, get up, don't do whatever, you know what I'm saying? All that personnel running up and down and stuff like that, you gotta have the personnel for that. And they had personnel on the first unit and they had a personnel on the second unit. JJ Reddy about to be Nash 2.0. You just need yeah. Well, Tank. JJ Redick, man. I don't really have no problem with JJ Redick. I think he'd be up in there trying to do all that damn X's and O's stuff on that mind the bullshit podcast and stuff like that. But yeah, I would want him to start off. Man, come on over to Duke, man. Man, you and Jay Will, man, show him how it's done, man. Come on over to Duke, man. Man, I would like to have Jay Will on there as a coach, man. I know Jay Will, man, because Jay Will. If we had Jay Will, man, I don't want Shire. I don't want Shire on there, man. Get Shire out of there. I don't want Josh Shire out of there. Josh Shire, he ain't that good of a coach. Yeah, mind the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Uncommon Sense, too. I stole that from him. Sorry, Uncommon Sense. But, mind the bullshit. Man, skip all that, man. Like, listen, go to college first. Because you see what happened to Juwan Howard. And he started off in the pros first. And then he went to Michigan or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I wish Juwan Howard, it seemed like he had a lot of promise or whatever, but, they let him go. Hey, that's cool. Hey, if JJ Redick, listen, if JJ Redick takes all of that X's and O's stuff and applies that and it works in college basketball, and because you got to think about it, JJ Redick ain't play under his coach wasn't no scrub or nothing like that. We talk about the great Mike Krzyzewski. Think about all the players. When you talk to Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, all these guys, think about who they wanted to play for. They wanted to play for Coach Krzyzewski. All the pros done played for Coach Krzyzewski. Everybody that done played for Coach Krzyzewski got a gold medal. All right, y'all. Straight to the point, man. I got to get out. I'll holler at y'all.